God'll get you for that one.
Maude is owned by Shout Factory.
God'll Get You for That, Walter, is produced for entertainment purposes only.
Sponsored in part by Findley's Friendly Appliances. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of God'll Get You for That, Walter.
But not this episode.
Not this episode.
Unfortunately.
Although there were moments, there were definite moments
were
where
moments.
he could have.
Where he could have.
Welcome. My name is Tom Catt, and I am joined by my fabulous co-host, co-star, and mother, Toni Homeperm.
Oh, my uni. Just thinking about it.
And welcome to God'll Get You for That, Walt. Welcome to God'll Get You for That, Walter, a podcast where we talk about the 1970s hit sitcom Maude. And this is episode 42.
Is it?
I think it's episode 42.
No, I thought it was episode...
41?
It's... Oh, you're
42,
right.
episode
42.
42.
I had it wrong.
Not always, Laws.
I had
not
it
always,
wrong. It
Laws.
is episode 42.
And we are discussing season 2, episode 18, Maude's Revolt.
Maude's Revolt.
Which aired January 22nd, 1974. Which aired literally, let's see, we're in 2022, 49 years ago.
Wow.
Close to her, no, 48 years ago.
Okay, so...
That was Maude's age in this episode. Isn't that weird?
What a coincidence.
We love those coincidences.
We do.
It was directed by Hal Cooper, as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
The teleplay was written by Lila Garrett. And the writer for the episode was Ken Hecht.
Mm-hmm.
So, what'd you think of the episode?
I love this one.
This was one of my favorites. This is another one of my favorites.
It was a really good one.
Definitely one that like showcases everyone's respective characters.
Yes.
And it was a very big ensemble cast, like lots and lots of guest stars.
Yes.
I did not write down any of the guest stars, but I know that Fred Grandy reprised his role as Christopher.
Yes.
We obviously had the usual suspects: Conrad Bain, Adrienne Barbeau, Rue McClanahan, Bill Macy, of course. But there were also others, and there was one.
Well, the only one who stood out was whoever played George Krupkin.
George Krupton.
Krupton?
Krupton.
Krupton.
Krupton. Krupton.
Okay. And
he was played by.
Yes. And of course, this is, as we said, Maude's Revolt, season 2, episode 18.
Maude's Revolt.
Not Revolt.
Wow, Maude's Revolt. My dyslexia is just the worst.
That's all right.
It's a real thing, kids. It's a real thing.
It is. So who... Oops.
Oh, for frick's sake.
Bear with us.
We're experiencing some technical
we're doing this live and...
Richard Collier.
Oh, okay.
Dick Collier.
What else did he do?
He did a lot. He died in 2000 at the age of 80.
Okay.
Let's see.
He wasn't young in this one.
No, he was not. He was probably a little older.
What?
Amanda's. He was the old man in Amanda's. Another B. Arthur show.
But only lasted one season.
And it was it was supposed to be an Americanized version of Fawlty Towers.
Fawlty Towers. Yes.
Fawlty Towers with
yes.
I could see his face plain as day.
John Cleese?
John Cleese.
Yes.
John Cleese.
From Monty Python.
From Monty Python, yes.
So he did
Flush, Archie Bunker's Place,
Quincy
M.E., Chips,
Hardy Boys,
Nancy Drew
Oh, the Hardy Boys. I had
of course you
such
did.
a crush on Sean Cassidy.
Of course you did. I mean, who didn't have a crush on Sean Cassidy?
Let me tell you. What else? Oh, Beretta,
Lincoln,
Little House on the Prairie. Oh, I love that
He was
show.
in Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
As Dr. Sam Johnson.
Mr. Krupton.
Mr. Krupton.
George Krupton.
And George Krupton.
Okay. He did a lot.
Kung
did.
Fu.
Hawaii
Five-0. The No Mercy Man.
The new Andy Griffith
Here's
show.
Lucy.
Here's Lucy.
The Bill Cosby Show. Hello, Dolly.
Dolly.
Vandergelder's Barber.
Oh. Look at that.
That was the Barbra Streisand. Hello, Dolly.
So he's
done a lot. Petticoat Junction.
Oh, Petticoat. I love Petticoat.
The Beverly
Junction.
Hillbillies. He was in Batman as
Big
Otto.
Valley.
Big Valley.
Oh, Big Valley. Batman.
Batman as Otto Puffendorfer.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
so he has another very storied...
My Three Sons.
My Three Sons, Many Happy
Dennis
Returns.
the Menace. Oh, Dobie Gillis.
Girls.
So many things he was
We're continuing to go backwards in time through
Bonanza.
Sugarfoot, Peter Gunn. North to Alette. My goodness, what a storied history.
Father, yeah.
Imitation
Maverick.
of Life, Rally Round the Flag.
Studio 57.
Studio 1.
Studio 1.
God is my partner. Monkey on the back. Monkey on my back.
I don't know any of those.
Neither do I.
These older things, I don't
These are all like 60s.
The Millionaire.
50s and 60s
I'd heard
movies.
of The Millionaire.
The Girl Can't Help It. Uncredited. Like, all of these are uncredited.
Alfred
that
Hitchcock?
He was just, yeah.
Yeah, so he did a lot.
Storied history he has.
So.
Storied history he has.
But we'll get more to George.
Jerky George Crupton in a
George
moment.
Crupton.
So this episode deals heavily with, again, the battle of the sexes, men and women.
Yes.
It starts with...
We're in the living room.
It's dark. It's dark in the living room.
Yes.
And Walter has been planning this very big surprise party for Maude.
It's her birthday.
It is her birthday.
As we
She's
come to find
48
out.
years old.
He's shushing everybody.
And it sounds like gas escaping.
Yes.
So, we love that journey for us, don't we?
Yes.
We love that journey for us.
Okay. Bear with us. It's crazy Long Island weather. We have winter one day and spring the next.
That's right.
So...
But global warming isn't a thing.
It's not a thing. It's really...
That's one issue that I really wish that Maude tackled was climate change. But they didn't have that problem. They didn't have that problem.
They did.
But it wasn't
well known.
It was not the problem that it is today.
Yeah.
It was not the problem that it is today.
Yes. See, back then, all we started hearing about was like how we were destroying the ozone layer. That was the big thing.
It was the destruction of the ozone layer.
Like the spray things that had the fluorocarbons were destroying the ozone layer, and that we were creating the hole in the
and then
ozone.
at one point the hole closed up, and now here we are.
I know, and things are still terrible.
Things are still terrible.
But we digress.
Yeah, we have no choice. We're not meteorologists.
No.
Although I made a joke that meteorologist in Greek means liar.
I would believe that. I have no problem.
So
the doorbell rings.
And Walter is freaking out.
Right,
because it's this big group of people, and they're all, like, Maude's gonna hear the bell, and like everyone's shushing each other, shushing, like shh.
Can we just say the whole idea of him throwing the surprise party in their own house?
Yes,
is so
foreign,
stupid.
That too.
But let me tell you something. My father did that to my mother.
Oh?
Yeah.
And did it go over well?
No, because she knew. She found out. So all she could think about was how she had to get like everything spotlessly spick and span before everybody came over. So, and what made it even worse was we had a Manx cat.
Yes.
Right before the party, I was little. The cat was like looking out the window. And I tried to push the cat out of the way, and the cat bit my hand. So
of course you started crying.
I had to be rushed to like the emergency for like tetanus shot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And my mother still had all these people heading over. She was not thrilled. I don't imagine
that she would be happy about any of that.
She's not thrilled with my father for any of this. So yeah. Never a good idea.
I can only imagine how much cleaning your mother would have had to have done to make that house as spotless as possible in the 70s.
Well, plus
for a party.
Plus, my father's mother, my paternal grandmother, was coming over, who always had to do like the white glove test.
Oh,
so my mother knew no matter how much she cleaned, how dust free, how spick and span, my grandmother, she'd find something.
Nope, absolutely not.
She would find something.
It's a trifle dusty in here.
Yes.
Did you take out the duster?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Hard pass.
So never a good thing.
Hard pass.
So it's Arthur and Vivian at the door.
It is Arthur and Vivian at the door, and Walter opens the door to say, hello. And Arthur says, hi, Walter! Just screaming, of course, screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yes.
And again, Walter is like trying to shush him.
Because they don't want Maude to hear him.
They don't want Maude to know. They don't want Maude to know that anybody's there.
So Arthur, though, comes up with a cover story.
Saying that he's there to pick up garbage.
He's there to borrow some garbage.
He
needs it for his new
garbage disposal.
Do you have a garbage disposal?
No.
I've never, lived in a home with a garbage disposal.
I have never lived such a bougie lifestyle as to have a garbage disposal.
Are they a thing anymore? I don't think so. I think if anything, people have things for composting.
Incineration, they're either gonna burn it or they're gonna trash it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yes.
the way it goes.
So, I think George Crupton. He got a hello.
He got a hello from Arthur.
He got a hello from Arthur.
And again, like just shouting across the room.
Yes.
So at that point, like Arthur says, "Oh, thanks for the garbage,
Thanks
Maude."
for the garbage.
And you hear Maude bellow downstairs, "Anytime, Arthur."
So Walter's saying that he's gonna bring Maude down. Arthur says that they need
a tell. They need a signal. They need a tell.
They need a signal, so he comes up.
So Arthur says, "Why don't you just say Via con Dios?"
Via con Dios. What? Yes. What a signal.
Because Arthur is full of such wonderful witticisms today.
Yes. And you know what? I never really knew. I never thought about it that Via con Dios means go with God.
You never knew that?
I never knew that. I mean, I know. When he said it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, Via con Dios is God. But it never registered.
One of my favorite Ricky songs was Via con Dios.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the first time I heard him sing it, I'm just like, this is such a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sing it for you people because who knows what's going to happen.
Well, you're not getting paid.
I'm not getting paid. I'm not going to be. If I was getting paid, it'd be a different story.
True story.
Uh-oh.
Last summer when I did the drag invasion at Fire Island, and like you know they call you over before you get onto the ferry.
Yeah.
It was Boudoir LaFleur. It was Tina Burner.
Yeah.
I think and Kimmy Moore, and of course
Kimmy Moore and
Tina Burner from Drag Race.
From RuPaul's Drag Race.
You know, and you go over there and they're like, oh, tell us your name, and you know, I was like, I'm Toni Homeperm, the singing diva of Long Island. And Tina was like, oh, do you want to sing something for us? I said, no, I'm not getting paid. And she was like, well, yeah, there's that.
That's a thing.
So she was like,
it's a real thing.
Like, you know what? No, you're not getting paid? No, you don't need to sing.
It's true. I mean, but it is true. I don't like... one of the things that I enjoy about TikTok is that I've been able to sing different songs. And I enjoy that fact. I enjoy being able to do that. But the problem is, if I don't have a piano accompaniment, it's kind of superfluous. You do what you can.
You do what you can.
You do what you can.
I mean, there's so much stuff on TikTok that doesn't make sense.
But you want to laugh?
Yes, I do.
I sang Only Fools Rush In by Elvis Presley.
Right.
And I sang it in my key. And I was trying to get the tempo right. I was trying to get the pace of the song right. And I couldn't for the life of me do it. But if you notice, when you're recording on your phone, it'll be a metronome.
Oh.
In the record button. It'll just open and then close. Open and close. And that's how I kept pace.
Oh, okay.
That's how I kept pace with the song.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Well, because at one point TikTok was called Musical.ly.
Really?
Yep,
music.ly.
Oh. And it was all about music, and it was all about dancing, and now it's about
everything. You know, I think about like the internet and originally we were calling like the information superhighway. And now
it's the entertainment superhighway.
Now, but now I'm like, I mean, all the things of information that could be shared possibly to make the world a better place. And what comes up on my feed is like people popping pimples. Blackhead removal. We
have performers. We have singers. We have dancers, and we also have pimple poppers.
Pimple poppers, yes. I'm just like...
Among other things.
Yeah, among other things.
Among other things.
Yes, well, not on TikTok. Twitter, however...
oh
my goodness. The things you see when you
Twitter.
haven't got your gun.
The things you see when you haven't got your
gun.
I hate you.
Yes, but that's Twitter. But we digress.
We digress.
So, Walter, he goes up to get Maude, and we see Maude upstairs, and now we have
see
to
Maude
comment.
We see Maude at first playing with these bracelety hoop earrings or bracelet situations, and she's putting them on her chest to almost like a brooch.
Right. And
then she puts them on her by her ears, and she didn't like that. And then she put it on her nose.
On her nose,
and she smiles, and she's like, "Yep, this is how I'm going to do.
Yes,
this is exactly how I'm going to do it."
Which is funny because now people would actually wear that.
Yep. But she was wearing this beautiful harvest orange pantsuit
Oh,
dress situation.
The outfit was beautiful.
The outfit was gorgeous, and that's honestly what I base a lot of my looks off of when I do Maude.
And I don't think anybody's really like a huge orange is a rough. It's a hard color.
Orange is a difficult color.
It's a difficult color to wear.
It's a very difficult color.
But that orange was beautiful.
That orange looked great on her.
It really did.
But you also have to take into consideration, like, it was
the
filmed,
70s.
It was the 70s, and it was filmed probably on something where the color may have been a little different. Because there was one outfit that I remember looking up online, and in the episode, it was orange. But in pictures, it was red. So it's very interesting to like see that dynamic shift change, because if doing theater has taught me anything, it's that if you're going to have one color on stage, it better have come from the same bolt every time.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, you're going to end up with two different shades of a specific color, and it's a nuisance. Yes. Even black is a difficult color, because if you get one shade of black and then the stage light shines on it, it may come up a little gray.
Oh, sure.
Color theory.
Yes. Well, we digress. But anyway, the outfit was beautiful.
Yep, it was a pleated palazzo pants with a orange dress and then an orange vesty jacket over it with like it was very attractive. It was a handsome outfit.
Yes.
It was a very handsome outfit.
And Maude is lamenting, like, why another birthday?
Why at my age do I have to have another birthday?
I can sympathize with that.
Of course you can, because you too are only a few years away from a specific age.
Yes. Which we will not mention.
We will not discuss on this program.
Under pain of death.
Under pain of death.
For some.
She's literally going to take kerosene, throw it all over my drag that I'm looking at right now, and just set it ablaze.
I would never do that to somebody's drag.
Yes, you would.
I would do it to the person, but not their drag. I can always
Wow.
Do something
so
with
you
drag.
would just give it to somebody else.
Well, of course.
That's love.
Find another drag daughter.
Rude! You're allowed. Welcome to the last episode.
The last episode
of God Will Get You for That, Walter.
Didn't we say that in the very first one?
Yes, we did.
First and last.
The first and last.
Oh my.
So Maude is lamenting, yes, that she is getting older, and she ends up making a couple of jokes about how she doesn't look a day over 47 or a day over 46.
It was originally 41.
Yes.
And Walter, she said even though she was going to be 40, I think she said 46.
Yep.
She didn't look a day over 41.
Yep.
And Walter said, Maude,
you're 48.
She said, I don't look a day over 43.
That's something I do.
Absolutely.
That is something I would do.
Absolutely.
At that point...
And Walter was telling her that she still looked beautiful.
Yep. I do, don't I?
Yeah.
So modest Maude.
Yeah, so
modest Maude.
So there's noise coming up from downstairs.
At that point, there's a crash.
There's a
crash heard, and Maude says, "What was that?" And
right.
Walter's like, "Yeah, it was probably just Chris and Carol fooling around." And he calls down, "Carol, was that you and Chris fooling around?" And Carol is holding her head. I don't know I wish that there was more context into what happened to the casserole dish.
Yeah.
Or what happened to the piece of crystal.
We never found out.
But Carol's holding her head and she calls up to Walter saying, "Yes, Walter, that's me and Chris fooling around." And Maude says, "Well, I wish they would stop fooling around and keep their hands off my crystal."
She said she wishes they would fool around with each other
and not
her crystal. So now we get into the crux of the matter at heart.
Yup.
Where Maude tells Walter there's something that she really, really wants him to do. She wants him to devote all his time to her tonight.
Will you stay with me? Will you be with me? Will you hold on to me for the duration of the evening?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And Walter says that he won't. He says he won't move from her side, and I think that's as they were walking out, and that's...
Yep, they start walking out, and that's when Walter cries out, "Wait! Vaya con Dios!"
No, before that.
Before that?
Before that. He said something about his heart. Remember? And then he patted her behind.
That's right. Yes.
And Maude was like, that's not my heart. And he said
It's not
It was something
little-
about her little heart.
Her little heart.
Her little heart.
Yes.
And he patted,
anything your little heart
anything your
desires
little heart
and pats her
desires.
bottom.
He pats her bottom, and she says, "That's not
not
my
my
heart."
heart.
And he said, "It's
not little
It's not
either."
little either.
And I mean, even I do this where I will like hold up my hand like a claw fashion and just hold it right up to your face. Well, that's what Maude did. Maude held her
Yes.
claws right up to Walter's face.
Yes.
And then they start walking downstairs.
That's when Walter starts with the Vaya con Dios.
Yes.
And Maud's like,
You're, what are you doing?
what are you doing?
I mean, just in case Carol and Chris are fooling around
Yes.
downstairs, I want them to know, Vaya con Dios!
Yeah, so he's saying that he's yelling Vaya con Dios just to give Chris and Carol
Just
a heads up.
incredibly awkward.
So they don't,
incredibly
come
awkward.
upon them fooling around.
And Maud's like, you're carrying on like Ricky Ricardo, Desi Arnaz
Desi
having a
Arnaz.
tooth pulled.
That's right.
So then Walter says, I'm just calling down to make sure that Carol and Chris stop fooling around
Right.
now that we're coming down.
Right.
Or something of equal or better value.
Yes.
And I think Maude says something to the effect of, if they're not fooling around, they're deadly serious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
They proceed to start going down the stairs.
they proceed to start going down the stairs, and at the top of the stairs,
We see them coming down.
The crowd is all scattered because
They're hidden,
because
and it's
Carol's
dark.
like, shh, they're on their way down now.
Right.
And Maude pronounces, if you leave me alone with Jerky George Crupton, because apparently they were going to some affair where they were all at.
Yes. Well, I don't think it was about leaving her alone with Jerky George Crupton. I think
it
it
wasn't them.
It was about leaving her like I think when they that time when they were with Jerky George Crupton. It was something about that. The last time they were with Jerky George Crupton, he did the same behavior where he went off with the men and left her.
Yep.
So and then at that point, everyone yells. After she's already called him Jerky George Crupton,
Yep.
they now
They
yell,
all yell, surprise!
And
Maude is shook.
yeah, because who's standing there right in front of her is Jerky George Crupton. Who she calls George, you darling.
I knew all the time.
Yes.
I knew all the time.
Yes.
I knew you were here. I knew you were all here.
I was teasing you, Jerky
George Crupton. And he has the most interesting laugh.
Yeah.
He laughs like a hyena.
Yes, like a hyena.
He laughs like a hyena.
Yes.
And it's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, do less.
Maude says this is the nicest near surprise to have all her closest friends.
Yeah.
You can't believe it.
I don't believe we've met.
I don't believe we. Yeah, she's like, yes.
I don't believe we've been introduced.
Yes, apparently there's a couple there that she didn't know, even though she thought it was all her closest
And
friends.
it was not a business associate, but a friend of Walter's.
Yes.
So it was this gentleman who
And his
distributes mini computers. How's about that for a
Oh
throwback?
my lord!
How's
yeah.
about that one?
I remember when I first got my first calculator.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was
That's what, ladies and gentlemen, years ago they were called mini computers. Today they are called calculators.
But nobody has a calculator.
No one
anymore.
has a
You have
calculator anymore. You have a
app
phone.
on your phone.
There's a calculator app on your phone.
I-
Do you know how much money that my mother spent on scientific calculators?
Really?
That they now have like most of those functions
yeah.
on the calculator
yeah.
app?
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Yes.
Tremendous.
Yes. Very true.
I remember I was taking trig in, I don't know if it was trig or algebra when I was in high school. And we were forced. to buy these like $100 scientific calculators.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my I remember the calculator that I had.
Was it a Texas Instruments?
Of course, it was a Texas Instrument, like TI-89 or TI-86 or something to that effect, and it was stolen.
Oh no!
It was stolen. It was stolen by like the traditional school bullies, where it was just like.
I'm like, what were they even going to do with it?
I don't know.
I mean,
from what I understood, they destroyed it.
Oh.
From what I understood, they destroyed it, and then they had to pay to have it purchased back.
Oh.
And the assistant principal at the time gave me the cash to give to my mother to buy the calculator. And the kids had to cough up the dough to the assistant principal. And one of the kids brought in a Ziploc bag of quarters, dimes, and nickels.
Oh, well.
He's dead now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, huh?
Oh, my Lord.
I was going to say, I was about to say something dirty. I kid you not. He's dead now.
Oh, my.
One of them is dead. I don't know if the other two are. Wouldn't surprise me. Either.
Yeah.
At least I'm not bitter.
Yeah, well,
I'm alive.
I mean, they already embarked on a life of crime in junior high. The future did not bode well.
The future looked bleak.
It looked bleak even then.
The future looked bleak.
So, oh my Lord.
I'm gonna love listening back to that.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's terrible. I was actually good friends with his younger brother because his younger brother and I did chorus together.
Okay.
And when I found out that he passed, I was like, oh, that's so sad.
Not really.
Was it drugs?
Oh, and it was. Oh, there you go. There you go.
There is. I mean, joking aside, there is help out there if you do have an addiction or if somebody that you or you are familiar with has a drug addiction. There is help out there.
Yes.
I have lost a number of friends to drugs. It's not fun.
No.
It's not a fun time for anybody.
No. One of the coolest things though about calculators is when you got it to spell out words.
Boobless.
When you turned it upside down. Hello or things like that.
Hello. There was. Oh my God! I literally remember there was a mathematical equation that someone cooked up where the answer became, and you turned it upside down and it said boobless.
Boobless.
Just
I know.
So stupid. So stupid. It is things like that that entertain the masses.
I mean, this is what's wrong with humanity.
Oh yeah.
I mean, here you had a device that you could use to calculate pi and things like that. And what do we do? We turn it into something to type out like a stupid word like boobless.
Type out words.
I mean, but that's
tremendous.
Yeah,
tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, this is why P.T. Barnum said no one would ever go broke by overestimating. I forget. There was something he said. But basically had to do with there's one born every minute.
There's a sucker born every minute.
There's a sucker born every minute.
That was actually a song from the musical Barnum.
Okay.
There's a sucker born every minute.
So, but yeah, it's like you'll never go broke by appealing to the lowest common denominator.
Nope, never.
And
never.
It's proven every day.
Yep.
It's proven every day.
100%.
So Carol says, "Oh, we have presents," and Arthur wants her to open his first.
And it's Geriatrics Can Be Fun.
Geriatrics Can Be Fun. By Yule Gibbons.
With a forward by Yule Gibbons. With a special introduction by Yule Gibbons.
Now, if I remember correctly, Yule Gibbons, he was the one who introduced everyone to granola.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. That sounds about right.
I think that's what he did. I remember that. And I loved granola.
I still enjoy granola.
I love granola.
I do.
But it was like they were making out like this super healthy thing, and it's really it's
just
not.
Oats. It's oats, vegetable oil, and caramel and marshmallows. And
yeah, I mean it's like so high in sugar. It's really not all that healthy for you.
Oh my God, anecdotal. There was one day because for a while all I would have for breakfast is oatmeal, instant oatmeal, and peanut butter.
Okay.
That would be my breakfast.
Okay.
Do you know that there was one day that they started to recall everything and my mother was like, we're never eating it again.
Oh.
I'm like, I have not died yet. I have not been poisoned yet. I do not have food poisoning from I'm going to continue to eat it.
Okay. Actually, instant oatmeal is not really that healthy for you.
No, it's not.
The regular oatmeal
like steel cut oatmeal, that's good for you.
That's good for you. But instant oatmeal is not really good for you because they've sort of taken out everything.
I mean, it's
that's
the same.
healthy,
It's the same thing with like general. It's the same thing with all kinds of like cold cereals and hot cereals. There's just so much sugar, preservatives, and all that fun stuff.
That stuff is not good for you. The only thing I think that is not too bad is something like shredded wheat.
Shredded wheat, Raisin Bran.
I think Cheerios that
are not Honey Nut.
Honey Nut, yeah, yeah. pretty much.
All of the delicious stuff that I eat almost every day.
Yes.
Actually, my breakfast now consists of banana and apples with peanut butter because I'm a 2-year-old.
So now Arthur, he grabs all the men because he's got to tell them. I think he starts telling them a joke or something.
Yep, he starts talking about, did you hear the joke about the Olympic gold swimmer?
Yes.
Who moved to Italy and became a streetwalker in Venice.
Yes. And of course, one of the men that he pulled,
was Walter.
And of course, Maude is like,
Walter, remember in the bedroom?
Yeah.
And, Walter says, that's right, Maude, and raises his eyebrows up and down.
Yes. And I think that's when Harvey, who was the mini computer salesman, gives Maude the mini
the calculator. We'll call it a calculator because they did call it a mini computer.
Yes. And Vivian's like, oh, now you can figure out how old you really are.
That was a great joke. That was such a great joke. There was a long pause, and of course the audience was laughing, and Maude says, I don't need a calculator to determine that.
Right.
It's your age minus 2.
Yes.
And the laughter continues, and I just love that woman so much. And God, could she deliver a line?
She could. Walter gets pulled away again.
Well, I mean, because, it wasn't even that Walter got pulled away. Maude says, oh, it's a mini computer because Harvey hands her the mini computer. Right. And, Carol says, I can balance my checkbook, I can do this and that. Yes. And Walter comes over and is so knowledgeable. He's like, oh, Maude, what you don't know about mini computers is it adds, and then Maude cuts him off and says, subtracts, divides, multiplies, all within a matter of seconds.
Exactly.
And they're talking over each other, saying exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Because Walter has to be the smart, intelligent man, and Maude is the dumb, domesticated female.
Right. So Walter pulls the mini calculator away. Then him and Arthur and Chris, he tells Chris to give him, I think he told Chris to give him a math problem.
He told Chris to give him a math problem.
So Chris is rattling off this divided by this, subtracted by this, divided by that.
Yep.
And Arthur, he knew the answer.
He did know the answer.
At the same time as Walter figured out on the calculator.
When Walter said that number, and he says that's the number, is it right? And then Arthur's like, right.
Yeah.
A little bit of potpourri for you that Arthur's character is a math whiz.
I guess so. Well, just because you're a math whiz doesn't mean that,
you're intelligent.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a moment.
So, Maude grabs Walter to bring him into the kitchen.
I loved that line. Again, loved that line so much. Because Maude, grabs Walter and is like, there's something that we need to get into. There's something there's something going on in the kitchen.
Yes.
And Walter's like, what's going on in the kitchen? Or what's in the kitchen? And Maude says, all hell, Walter, and it's about to break loose.
Yes.
And, we have another moment between Maude and Walter where, Maude is like, I asked you to, stand next to me. Please, I implore you, just stay with me, hang out with me. You could actually learn to enjoy my company.
And she says, she points out that it's just like he had just done this the last time they went to the movies with Arthur and Vivian.
Yeah.
Maude and Vivian, they kind of sit behind Walter and Arthur.
And Walter says, when I sit with Arthur, I get more popcorn.
He gets more popcorn.
And Maude says, we've been to the movies so many times, your hands are all over me except in my popcorn.
Right. Well, I think she was reminding him that when they used to first go to the movies.
When they first started going to the movies.
That's not where his hands weren't going for the popcorn.
Hands were everywhere else but the popcorn.
So, they're arguing about this, and then Walter points out, we've got a party going on, and he says, I won't move from your side.
I think Maude initially said you'd be shot if this was the army. You'd be shot if this was World War II. You'd be shot for desertion.
Yes.
So at that point, Maude and Walter exit, and Walter is now tethered to Maude's side.
And Maude has the hors d'oeuvres.
Yes, more hors d'oeuvres.
And she tells Carol to try the green one.
Yes, and Carol's like, why do you want me to try this one? And Maude goes, because these are the ones that we always have leftovers of.
Yes.
Have you ever done that at a party?
What?
Where you just say, just eat that one. Don't eat the other stuff because this is
No.
the stuff we have leftovers of.
Everything I make is delicious.
I can attest to that. I can definitely attest to that. You are a good cook.
Thank you.
You are a good cook. Domestic goddess.
The mature
domestic goddess.
That is me. Mature domestic goddess.
The reason we laugh about mature goddess
mature
is because Toni,
my.
Toni, in their infinite wisdom, has been posting a lot on TikTok. And
yes.
Toni is a woman of a certain age.
Yes.
And because Toni is a woman of a certain age, you know, people will say, wow, you are so brave. You are so wonderful to be your age and still doing drag. Good for
Yes.
you. And some
So kind.
will comment, wow, what a mature goddess you are.
One guy did.
One person actually called
he
them.
said mature goddess, and I was
can't.
like, oh yes, that's just so wonderful.
That's such a warm
mature
comment.
goddess.
That's
yes.
such a warm comment.
Oh, it just fills me with the warmth of human kindness to be thought of as a mature goddess.
I'll be there one day. I'm there now.
You're there now. Who are you kidding?
Now.
Who are you kidding?
I'm such a friggin' old
Kidding.
woman.
You're like one step behind me.
You're right. You are not wrong. You are
Literally.
not wrong.
Literally.
You are not
Oh
wrong at
my.
all.
Yeah, they're worse things.
They're
worse
Yes.
things.
So Maude goes over to the couch, and Vivian's talking about their friend Edith Hassel, who was 3 weeks late when she had her child,
baby.
and she had all this back pain.
Yes.
And there were just all these problems, all of this
And then
stuff
she
going
got
on.
boils or something.
She got boils
I don't know.
all
And
over her body.
Walter is turning green.
Yep.
It's like he doesn't want to hear about female problems.
I mean, did any man in the 70s want to hear about female problems? No. They just wanted
They don't want to hear about it now.
They just wanted to sit in on the topics that the girls were going over when they had to do health class and physical ed during their youth.
Yes. Yes.
I never had the opportunity to watch. Wait, did I? I have to ask myself that question.
What?
Because when I was younger, we had sexual education where we would go over, you know, boy things and girl things, and
did they did this to me?
Yeah.
I
gotta hear.
They separated the boys and the girls.
Yes, they did that
and
with us.
they showed the boys.
Yes.
This
Video
film,
produced by Disney.
This film of this woman giving birth.
Yep.
And
I saw that in health class. I think it was.
when the baby came out, all the boys, they were just like, oh, and the one kid, he was like, oh, she's nasty.
Screaming. I'm screaming. That's disgusting. Because she didn't wax. That's why. That was the only reason why. Because we watched the same video. Isn't that terrible? Toni.
I feel bad for this woman.
I feel so bad for that woman. That poor thing. That poor.
Did she know
woman.
what she was getting into?
Yeah, she knew.
It was that whole that whole 70s thing of oh, natural childbirth and bringing the baby out of the womb. It's like this spiritual thing and bringing you closer to nature, and it was just
strapped to a table, numb from the neck down. That is exactly how I would have child. That's exactly how I would have child.
Exactly. I would be like drugs.
Cesarean.
Well, no, I wouldn't want a cesarean. I would just want to be the spinal thing so that I'm numb.
They're called epidurals.
Yes, I forgot the name for it. The epidurals.
The epidurals.
All the drugs. Give me, all the drugs. All the drugs. Just give me all the drugs. I don't want to feel anything.
I don't want to feel a damn thing.
Yes, but But we are not, capable of childbirth.
We are not capable of childbirth.
So it's not really our place.
Although I have had enough children in my day. I have their birth certificates.
Okay. Fine. So Walter is turning green.
Walter's turning green. He does not want to hear about these female problems.
Arthur grabs Walter and starts asking him about the energy
crisis.
Yes. Now.
Because years ago, people actually blamed the oil industry and not the president. What a concept.
Well, the oil industry was at fault, too.
Correct.
They were not. They were not.
Of course, they weren't. They weren't
blameless.
innocent. They were not.
They
blameless.
weren't blameless.
They were not blameless.
And we know now that Nixon kept, conspired with the oil companies. Yeah. They had barges offshore filled with oil that they kept from getting to the U.S. shores, and they did this because they wanted to jack up the price of oil.
Yep.
That's literally all.
And here we are, where it's $3.50 a gallon.
$3.50 a gallon, because it went from, I think it was like I was a little kid, and I remember because gas was maybe
25 cents.
It was like 25 cents.
50 cents a gallon.
And then all of a sudden, it doubled in price to like 50 something cents, and people were like outraged, and there were like gas stations were like running out of gas.
Yep.
There were like lines. I remember like the local gas station. My mother had to actually make an appointment. They actually had like an appointment book. She had to make an appointment for when we could get gas in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, unbelievable. It really was. And that's when the gas price just started going up and up and up and up.
So who do we have to thank for that, Tony? We have a Republican to
thank for it. Yes.
At least I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
So Arthur he's asking Walter. He says, doesn't he think that this energy crisis is being blown out of proportion?
He initially asks what uses more electricity, electric clocks or electric toothbrushes.
Right.
And Walter says an electric toothbrush uses 7 watts, where an electric clock only uses 2. Mm-hmm. So Arthur quips with Chris that everyone should start brushing their teeth with their clocks, which I thought was adorable. I thought that was a cute little bit of dialogue.
And Walter calls out Arthur for still
driving an 8-cylinder.
An 8-cylinder. He's got a big car.
A big car that is an 8-cylinder.
Yeah. Oh, here, fun fact.
Go ahead.
My father was a car salesman at that time.
Yes, you told me.
He was working for Ford. And they had all these, these big gas-guzzling cars.
Yeah.
Because when they were made, the gas was only like 20-something cents a gallon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was nothing to fill up the car. And then when and they discussed this, because Arthur points out that Walter's, he's got a foreign car. But the reason that people started buying the foreign cars was because they had such a better MPG. They got more miles to the gallon. And what happened with my father was, up until this point, he was doing really good as a car salesman.
Yep.
So as this happened, like the sales of the Fords and Chevys, Oldsmobile, they tanked because nobody wanted them. That's when people started buying Toyotas. And
that's what Arthur even joked about it, saying, you, Walter, you have a foreign car.
Yes.
That's what's making General Motors tank, because people were buying foreign cars.
Yes. But, they wanted cars that had, better MPG.
Had better gas mileage.
Yeah, because, they couldn't afford.
A longer shelf life.
You couldn't afford. They couldn't afford the gas guzzlers anymore.
I've driven a Toyota for pretty much all of my driving life, which has only been a couple of years. But that's all I've driven were Toyotas. And now I'm driving a Ford, and it's just like, I'd rather drive the Toyota because it's better on gas.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I let my car sometimes get to half a tank, and then I fill up. When I'm at half a tank, I usually fill up, and it's $50.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So now I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to drive.
So you're down to fumes.
No, God, no, I would never, because then it would be like $100, and I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's true.
But now instead of waiting until I'm at a half, I'm waiting until I'm at
3/4 or a quarter.
In between a quarter and a half. 5/8.
5/8. Okay.
I drive when I'm at 5/8. That's when I fill up, and I'm like, okay, $30, $40. I can handle that. I can live with that.
Doesn't feel as bad. While all this is going on, Maude has gone into the kitchen, and
she's getting a rope.
She comes out with a rope. So dramatic.
Actually, even before that, Maude comes over and is like quipping with like it's Walter, Arthur, and Maude rapping about, what's going on as far as the energy crisis is concerned.
Right.
And I think even Maude joked about how it was offshore drilling or offshore oil that was the reason that all of this was happening. Like Maude called it out. And, I think Walter says to Arthur, like, you are a slave to the government. And it was just an interesting conversation.
Yes.
Like, one of the things that I love about Maude is that they will inject these very, very heavy political messages into the show while also going over something incredibly humorous. Like, it just does such a beautiful job of showing that dichotomy.
The juxtaposition.
And the juxtaposition.
There's your SAT word.
There's your SAT word for the day.
So, meanwhile, now Maude has come out with the rope.
Yep. And she gets a chair.
She got the chair. She
starts to hang herself.
She forms a noose.
She puts the noose around her head.
And Carol's like,
Mother, what are you doing? She says, I'm hanging myself. It's the only way I'm going to get Walter to notice me.
Attention.
Only way to get Walter's attention.
And Maude is, Walter, look at me. She's saying goodbye.
Goodbye. I'm hanging myself.
Walter's going to have fun.
That's good. That's nice, Maude. Have fun.
Have fun.
And Vivian's like, if you slip and fall, you'll ruin your facelift. So stupid.
And that's when we took the break.
Yes.
Commercial break.
That was where we took the break. Actually, Walter said that his car gets 20 to 22 miles to the gallon.
22 miles per the gallon because he's
Isn't
got
that
a foreign
something?
car.
Because he has a foreign car.
He's got a foreign car. So, we come back. Maude is
in the bedroom crying, playing solitaire.
Was she crying?
There was a moment where she had like this scarf in her hand and she was like dabbing tears away from her face.
Okay. And Walter is downstairs telling the guests, or I think he was telling them anything. He was telling them anything for a laugh.
It's alluded to the fact that Walter is at the top of the steps, heading upstairs to talk to Maude.
Yes.
And he's saying to the crowd, like, Maude will do anything for a laugh. We'll figure it out, and she'll be back down in a moment.
Yes.
And he starts laughing and then enters the room, and he's just like, what the hell are you doing in here? What the hell are you doing
He's
in
like,
here?
the guests are waiting. And he's asking her, what do you want from me?
And Maude is being wildly melodramatic.
Oh, God, yes.
Wildly melodramatic.
Yes.
It's what made Maude Maude.
Yes.
Just Maude being Maude.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, it's all right, master. I'll keep the incense burning while you're downstairs entertaining the guests. She holds this little scarf over her mouth.
She's doing a whole little I Dream of Jeannie kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Saying that Walter's her master.
Yep.
His every wish is her command.
Yep.
And she gives him the bell.
She gives him a little tiny bell that he can ring. Yes. And she says, one tingle will suffice.
That's all she needs. Just one tingle and,
And then at that point when she hands Walter the bell, Walter is trying to have a conversation with her. And instead, Maude is singing The Sheik of Arabic.
Yes.
Which, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's a really cute song. So she's humming that. Walter is like trying to talk to her, like, will you please just come downstairs? Can we please? There are guests downstairs. So he's like, Maude, get downstairs, and he rings the bell.
Yes.
Maude bounds to her feet and says, is it time, master? Your every wish is my command.
And
throws herself on the bed.
Yes. She's like, I'm waiting.
You're my ding-dong daddy from Dumas. Because, again, Maude is being incredibly childish.
Right.
But is she being unreasonable?
Okay, now we didn't actually discuss the whole point of that, like the women going off with the women and the men going off with the men. Now, when I was actually married to my wife,
yes,
I mean, I actually preferred to stay with the women. I really had no desire to be with the men because generally they were talking about
things that you were not interested
sports
in.
And
things that you weren't interested
was not interested. I was much happier to discuss TV shows, cooking, decorating,
shopping, decorating.
So
when I used to be taken to my grandmother's hairdressers. I was the life of the party.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was a 5-year-old Spitfire.
I have no
I was
doubt.
amongst my people.
Yes.
I was amongst these older blue-haired women, and I was in my glories because I'm hearing this one talk about that. I'm hearing that one talk about this. I'm hearing just the gossip, and it was just, it was just so much fun.
I know. I was an old lady at
I
heart.
was an old lady at heart.
As a child too. We actually had, my mother had these two aunts, her Aunt Katie and her Aunt Lucy.
Okay.
They were her father's sisters. When they were younger, they would say that my mother's father was their older brother.
Yes.
As they was that no when they were younger they would say he was the kid brother.
Yeah.
But as they got older, he became the older brother.
Yeah.
It was like, so I never really knew whether they were
You
older
never
than
knew
him
whether they were older or younger.
or younger than him.
Yep, I would do that. That's something I would do. That is definitely something I would do.
Yes. And they would like tell these stories about, because they were Sephardic Jews and they emigrated from, I believe, Turkey.
Okay.
And but they emigrated from Spain to Turkey.
Yep, that's usually the case.
And then they came to America. But they had these stories about when they, lived in Europe.
Yep.
And like they said, like, oh no, this actually happened when they came to America.
Okay.
They were used to, like, you would go to the movies and you brought your own food.
Yes.
And you weren't supposed to do that.
No.
And you're still not supposed to do that.
You're still not supposed to do that, but it hasn't stopped people from buying those like foam tummies with the food in it.
Yes. But they were really, poor. They brought hard-boiled eggs to the movie theater as their snacks to eat while they're watching movies. And, they said they'd, like, be, quietly, like, taking out the hard-boiled eggs and eating hard-boiled eggs, and people would be like, what's that smell? Oh, my God. But it was like, stories like this that, like, as a little kid,
You were fascinated by these conversations.
Fascinated. I can't begin to tell you.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny.
It was so funny. But
That is too funny.
So, but I don't know. Never the women splitting off from the men. It never bothered me.
I mean, on the one hand, I get it because, Maude, militant, liberal, feminist. She wants to involve her husband in the conversations that she's having. It's just unfortunate that some of the conversations that women have, men just aren't interested in. And some of the conversations that men have, women just aren't interested in.
Oh, but I do have a relevant story.
Okay.
This happened a few years ago.
Okay.
With my husband.
Okay.
He got invited to an old friend's house for a barbecue.
Yes.
Kind of a thing.
Yes.
And he knew people there, and I did not.
Yes.
And he just, like, went off and left me.
Oh, no.
By myself.
Oh, no.
And I didn't, knew nobody. So I was just, like, sitting around by myself.
Of course you were.
Let me say that the drive home was probably, we've almost never, ever fought.
Argued. But this
Argued.
time you did.
That was a biggie. That one was a biggie. And I was like, I didn't know anyone there, and you just left me. You went off, and I'm like sitting there like a bump on a log.
Yep.
Don't know anybody, nobody to talk to. I was mad. I was very mad. So that's one instance where I could sort of think that bothered me.
My problem is
Yeah.
when I am in a specific space, I have to chew the scenery.
Okay.
I will make myself. I was going to say an obstacle, a spectacle.
A spectacle.
I will make a spectacle of myself. And I will just talk to like random people, like when I'm talking like in a social setting. Like if it's in a social setting, I will try and be the life of the party. There was actually one time recently, it was me, my ex, and my ex's best friend, and whom he's no longer friends with. And we were just kvetching and carrying on, like waiting to go to this specific event. And I was dressed very fetchingly. I had on like a black latex corset, black leather pants, man-tailored shirt, buttoned down, rolled up sleeves. I had on a gorgeous gorgeous cat eye. And we're just walking, bumming around. He was in a 3-piece suit, and his friend was in just regular black attire. And we walked to the gig, like walked to their friend's gig, and just all eyes were on me. And I loved every second of it. But I mean, I also knew when to give space to other people. Like if somebody else wanted to have a conversation with people, I'd be like, okay, I'll just chill over here. You guys can talk, and then I'll go over to this one. And like when I go to conventions, it literally goes like this. Oh my God, hi, how are you? Oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen you. I've been loving your posts on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, hold on, I'm being pulled in this direction. I love you so much. Please keep in touch. Oh my God, hi. Same thing. Over and over and over again. Being pulled in every single direction. And I miss it so much.
I mean, that makes sense.
I miss it so much.
I mean, I have like similar experiences when
you're in drag.
But like when, you know, I'm not in drag. Like if I go into a new situation where like I don't know people, I'm very shy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I never knew that.
Yes. Well, you know.
I know Toni Homeperm.
You know me.
I don't know Toni Maude.
Well, you do, but you've gotten to know.
That's true. No, you're right.
The you know, the undragged me.
The woman behind the makeup.
The woman behind the mask.
The woman behind the mask.
But yeah, like if I go into like a social situation where like I don't know anybody, I'm not in drag.
Yeah,
I'm very different.
Nope, I get it.
Different.
I get it.
So
Maude and Walter are arguing. And, you know, Maude is continually, like, falling down on the bed every time Walter rings the bell.
Yes.
And, you know, at that point, Walter, like, storms downstairs and says, Maude's being a small, petulant child.
Oh, but before that, Maude had this little, she was saying, talking about, was it Socrates? And how he said that, you know, men love...
Hamlet.
Oh, Hamlet.
Men love men and only tolerate women.
And they only tolerate women.
Hamlet said, I love thee, Horatio. He said, I love thee to all the men.
Yes.
What did he say to the only woman in the cast? Get thee to a nunnery.
Yes. Very true.
Because that's what happens. Like, I think Walter finally, like, has enough, and Maude's like, oh, come on now.
Yes.
And then Maude becomes... the militant feminist and like really like gives it to Walter because that's just what she does.
Says to her, get thee down to the guests.
And she falls down because he rang the bell.
Yes. And so Walter says he's going down. So as Walter starts to proceed, we see him coming down the stairs,
and all
the couples
are arguing.
All the men
Chris
and the women
are fighting with each Carol.
other. Yes.
Vivian's arguing with Arthur. The
Mr. and
Crumptons
Mrs.
are arguing.
Yes.
The Harvey and his wife are arguing.
They're all arguing.
And Walter
with
calls
each other.
upstairs, Maude, come downstairs. Everyone's talking to each other.
Yeah. And Walter announces to everyone that Maude is not feeling well. And Carol's like, well, she's not surprised, and I think this is when doesn't
Arthur said something. I don't know what Arthur said, but Arthur said something about how women just aren't interesting enough to talk to, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And Vivian like gasps and says, Arthur, I can't believe you would say something like that. And Carol turns to him and goes, Arthur, the next time you want to test your disposal, talk to it.
Yeah.
And another great line.
Yes. And Walter, he was trying to like make an excuse for Maude, but then he just tells everybody what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Because he realizes he goofed.
Yeah.
He realizes that he blew it because he realizes, like, this party was for Maude and I blew it. Here I am, like, making a mess of things because I wasn't by my wife's side the entire time.
Yes.
But before that, or even after that, I think, Arthur's like, you want to try and get her down here? Call fire.
Yes.
Like, everyone screams fire.
Arthur comes up with he's like trying to come up with a scheme.
He was an idiot this episode.
Yes, to get Maude down. So he's saying, let's all yell fire. So they yell fire. Of course, nothing happens. So he goes
to the top of the stairs.
Halfway. He's halfway on the
to the
stairs.
top of the stairs and calls out, Maude, fire!
Fire! And there's a big
splash of water.
And he's like, like a bucket of water is thrown on him.
Yep.
And he's like very funny. He says that he wants to go home. And Walter tells him, don't go home.
I'll pay for the dry cleaning.
He says, I'll buy you a new suit. Arthur tells him 38 long.
38 long. What a friend. What a friend.
And Walter says, it's no use. We're never going to get her down.
Yep.
That's when Carol says, no.
FOMO Maude.
Yes.
FOMO Maude. Fear of missing out Maude.
One thing she can't resist, it would be if we're all having fun. Yeah. So then they come up with the idea that George is a good laugher. So they're going to have George go at the bottom of the stairs to laugh up the stairs. And he says, well, he can't just laugh for no good reason. Yeah. So Walter has to make a funny face.
And he made a very stupid funny face, but it got George to laugh.
It got George to laugh, and that's when we hear his hyena laugh.
That's when we hear the hyena laugh.
Yes. Which sort of then starts everybody laughing.
Everyone starts laughing, and then I think Carol's like, put on some music. Maude loves to dance.
Yes.
And they put on some rock and roll record.
Yes.
And
they kept cutting back to Maude in the bedroom, and she's sort of like,
peeking her head out
and like listening. So Carol puts on music, so they start dancing
horribly.
Yeah.
With the exception of Carol, who actually has rhythm.
Yes. And Maude is, she's
also getting into the groove and moving her body around,
playing solitaire and doing a card dance. Then Walter, he turns off the music and he realizes, he's like, no, if we're gonna get her with music, he said we need to do the conga.
Yep.
That's what they need to do.
She loves a party. That's what Carol said. She
yes.
loves a party. And Vivian's like, yes, why else would she be married 4 times?
That's right. So they start doing the conga line. They're like, da 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 da. They put George back at the stairs.
Carol puts George back at the stairs to laugh.
They're doing the conga, and Maude
comes downstairs. And she sees George laughing. And remember that scarf that she used to dab her eyes?
Yeah.
She shoved that scarf right into his mouth.
Right in his mouth.
Right into his gullet.
So she's goes over to the kitchen, and as soon as she does, the door opens and slams into her
in the face.
And the conga line comes out. And they're all filter, they come out into the living room.
Yep.
And when the door is finally able to open, we see Maude's holding her face.
Holding her face. And everyone starts everyone turns around and notices that Maude was there, and Maude's like, is there room for one more?
And they're like, welcome to the party. And she tells Walter that, she's been behaving. She said he was right. She has been behaving like a child.
I have written down Truman Capote.
Oh, yes. There was
some statement that I think it was...
no, that's not... Oh, that comes up. That's not yet.
Okay.
That's not yet. So, she's telling Walter she's sorry, she was behaving like a child.
Yep.
And Walter and Maude are making up. Arthur has to ruin it by saying,
don't you know it worked? That crummy idea, she fell for it.
She fell for it.
It.
And Maude is then she realizes they were just doing this to get her down.
Yep.
So she's going to go back upstairs.
Yep.
And that's when Walter is like, Maude, who do you think did all this work? Who was
Truman Capote?
Truman Capote.
Yeah.
I had to leave work 2 hours early. I had to get everything set up, put everything together, get you a gift. Yeah, but then he stops and he's like, what am I saying? He said, I promised you that I wouldn't leave your side. That
I blew it.
And and he says, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And it's an honest apology, and she forgives him, and that's when he gives her the present that he got her.
Yep. And it is a beautiful powder blue
negligee.
I would say a dressing gown.
Dressing gown?
Okay. A beautiful powder blue dressing gown
with a white
ostrich feather.
fringe.
Not ostrich feather. It's white. Oh, it is
Sort of
some type of bird, marabou feather. I
Yes.
think either marabou or
Yes.
ostrich feather.
Yes.
Trim.
Yes.
Very
on like
beautiful.
the cuffs and the collar.
If you remember in certain promo shots of Maude,
Was she wearing that? Is that
was
the one she was
that
wearing?
was the dressing
I
gown
thought
she
it
was
was.
wearing.
I thought it was. You can find that if you Google.
If you Google Maude or B. Arthur, you'll find that picture
You'll
of
find
her
it
in the powder blue
dressing gown. And,
I love dressing gowns.
It's beautiful.
I love wearing dressing gowns. I
Yes.
could live in a dressing gown.
I thought you did.
I do. It's purple. It's beautiful.
Oh, and Maude says, to Walter, how can I thank you?
And he rings
the
the
bell.
bell. And he rings the little tiny bell.
Yeah, and Maude's like, well, it serves
me right.
And then at that point, Maude pulls all the girls aside.
Maude pulls all the girls aside
to show them
the dress.
dressing gown.
And she says, isn't it just like a man?
Yeah.
Something that takes a minute to put on and 10 seconds for them to take off.
And then Walter is going like, Maude,
Maude, remember in the bedroom?
Yes. And she's like, be with you
She's
in a
like,
minute.
You, Walter, be with you in a minute.
Yes.
And then the men and the women are on separate sides.
Again.
Because it's cute when Maude does it.
Yes.
It's very cute.
It's okay when
Maude
she.
does it. It's okay when she does it.
When she does it, but not when Walter does it.
So the epilogue. The epilogue has Walter saying, "Happy."
Well,
no?
Maude was like looking at the presents.
Okay.
And then Walter comes in from the kitchen with the cake. And he's noting how that she's
48 years old, and in 2 years,
2 more years,
she'll be half a century.
And he tells her to make a wish.
So she puts her fingers together, closes her eyes, looks to the sky, and as she's wishing, Walter is walking over and he trips.
He trips, and the cake, his face goes right into the cake.
And his face goes right into the cake.
And
Maude laughs, turns to him and goes, "My wish came true."
Yes.
And that's how the
episode ends.
I do, all things considered, I really do love a cream pie joke.
Uh-huh.
I really do. Like, pie in the face. I don't know why. The older I've gotten, the more I appreciate the pie in the face joke.
Yes, pie in the face. Not cream pie. That has another connotation.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a good
sure
Christian
you
woman who
don't.
doesn't know that term.
I'm sure you don't.
I don't know that term.
know.
What does
Yeah,
it
of course.
mean?
This is supposed to be, semi-family friendly.
Okay.
I'll show you on the Twitter feed.
I hate you. Oh my God.
I hate me too.
I hate you too.
I hate me too.
So we thank you for listening to another episode of God Will Get You For That, Walter. If you would like to follow us, you can on YouTube at God Will Get You For That, Walter. On Facebook at God Will Get You For That, Walter. You can also find us on Instagram at Finley's Friendly Appliances. If you would like to follow me, you can at That Tomcat on all forms of social media. That is me. Who are you?
And you can follow me, Toni Homeperm, and that's
Tony with an I.
with an I. Facebook, website, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Hashtag mature goddess.
Hashtag mature goddess.
Hashtag mature goddess.
I'm going to kill you for that.
No, you're not. We thank you guys for listening, and you'll catch us on another episode of God Will Get You For That, Walter. Bye, guys.
Good night.